You were born in a litter of 6. You are blind and helpless, so your parents look after you. But besides them, there is another character here. Big two-legged cat. He's the one who gives you food and water. For some reason, he also makes you and all other cats poop in a box. Meanwhile, the bipedal cat uses a white seat. After he's done with his business, he would press a button which will create a splashing sound. Then he'd open the lid of the white seat and it would be empty. Cool. So this means he doesn't have to bury his. Censored. As time went on, your siblings kept disappearing. Now there's only 2 of you. That new cat took you to his metal base. He fastened you to a seat and then drove away. Vroom! After 20 minutes or so, you arrived at your new home. He took you out of your backpack and you got to meet your new family. You're unfamiliar with the location, so you got nervous and hid. You hid on top of a cat tree, but that won't change what would happen next. The big bipedal cats gathered underneath you. They were staring at you, and in front of their faces, they held rectangular objects that made clicking noises. Next day, you found yourself at a place called a vet where there were lots of masked figures. They put you to sleep. When you woke up again, you felt sleepy and weak. But most importantly, your boss disappeared. A few days later, your family sent you to another place you didn't like. This one is called the Cat Academy, where you and several other kittens were trained to become good pets. The big bipedal cats could feed you treats and spray you with water as many times as they wanted, but you knew you would never be domesticated because you are a wild animal. Instead, you are influencing them with parasites. That might not be entirely true because you did learn that scratching stuff and nibbling on plants equals punishment, even though you still do them sometimes. After graduating, you have a routine for every day. Firstly, just like most other animals, you wake up in the morning, sometimes on the floor, sometimes on your cat tree, sometimes under the couch. And you eat breakfast that have already been prepared by your family. Then you'd watch everybody leave. Minutes later, you yourself would leave through the cat door after you are done scratching your scratching board, the one thing you are allowed to scratch. Outside, you play with other cats. Sometimes you fight them and get injured. If your family discovered your injuries, they would send you to the place you want to avoid at all costs, the veterinary clinic. Look, an animal. Maybe you should catch it, but it's too big, so you should wait until you're larger. You grew up into a predator. By the time you return home with your catch, your family also happened to be there, so you showed them the half-dead frog, but they just looked at it with disgust and disposed of it. You can't understand why those bipeds would consider a simple frog bad when they eat burnt carcasses and soggy plants. This is the end of your day. Where would you like to sleep? On the floor, on your cat tree, under the couch. Another thing, the time when they brought you on a camping trip. It was a long drive that, as far as you're aware, lasted hours. You are tied to a tree in a campsite in the middle of a forest. You could hear animal noises. Wait a minute, what's that thing back there? It looks like a nylon pyramid as an insult to architecture. At night, they held sticks tipped with white things over a campfire. It might as well be another type of food that's weird to you but normal to them. In the middle of the night, the tent leaked. Why? Well, you're a naughty cat who scratched it while nobody was looking. You just loved the look on those people's faces as they scrambled to look for the cause. You laid back in the driest corner of the tent. They called us a fortress, but you call it an oversized scratching toy. Time went in a flash. Soon, it was a day when one of the bipeds packed her bags and left, probably to go to the university place she'd been talking about for the last few days. Another one left 4 years later. At first, you thought it was great news because those two were the children cats who were super noisy and they would scream every time you step on their homework. Since you are the closest thing to a child that still lives with them, the two bipedal cats began paying you more attention than they did before. They even spoiled you. As time went on, you grew older and had less energy by the day. One day, you felt like your time had come. You knew that if you died in your house, the smell of the carcass would attract predators that may harm your family. Because of this, you went outside, found an empty spot, curled up, and closed your eyes for the very last time. That isn't the end of the story, though. Your family went looking for you. Missing posters were hung everywhere, and neighbors were being interrogated. But no matter what they do, they can't find a clue. By the time somebody found you, all that's left was the rotting corpse. However, that person saw the phone number written on your collar, so he called your parents. They arrived in no time and were obviously devastated. Your parents put your remains in a box before calling your siblings to come and attend your funeral. You were given a proper burial in your backyard. Sometimes, out of habit, your parents would still pour cat food into your bowl. If you think the life of a cat is bad enough, remember that there are countless organisms out there with an even worse life.